All right, students. So for the last 3 weeks, we've been doing a lot of review. What is physics? What is science? Diving into graphing, review, and things like that. Those are all essential in order to be successful as we continue to go into physics. However, week 4 is starting to dive into core concepts of physics, and you need to know this information. So for definitely Physics A, starting with weeks 3 and 4, these weeks are necessary in order to be successful in later weeks. You do not want to skip these weeks. For week 4, we're going to start talking about vectors and forces. Vectors and scalar quantities are huge concepts in physics. They will not go away. You will see them over and over again. And force as well will be a huge concept that we will use in most, if not all, of the later weeks as we finish going through all of Physics A. So week 4 is especially important in order to be successful in this class. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the week and how it's laid out, because from here on out, there's going to be some key pieces that you're going to notice, and you're going to wonder, how do I learn this stuff? Where do I go to get information, etc., etc. Now, with week 4, you'll notice that most of the weeks may have had a learning resource folder. Week 4 definitely has the first legitimate reading assignment and videos that go along with it. Now, when you go into the learning resources folder, it gives you options for doing the assignments for the week. I recommend to all students that one of the best habits you can get into, especially if you're aiming for college, is learning how to read your textbook and use that information in order to do your homework. So that is always going to be at the very top of your learning resource folder. So you'll notice week 4 has a reading assignment, and it's chapter 2 in your online textbook. And there's also an optional study guide to help guide you through the chapter if that's something that you like to do. It's not something that you turn in, but it is, again, it's optional. Your textbook will be something that is required in later assignments. I will not take any information from outside sources. It has to be from your textbook. Everything I use in the class is mostly from your textbook, with the exception of the Explore Learning gizmos. So it's very important that you use your textbook and you use that to learn your material. Now, as I scroll down, you'll see there are many videos that you can use to kind of help learn the material. We have videos about force, free body diagrams, more free body diagrams, the Hewitt-Druitt net force and vectors. This is actually the author of your textbook, and you can click on that and watch the video of him teaching that information. Finding resultant vectors is another one. And then for the optional extra credit, the dot product. So these are all videos that you can watch. You don't have to watch all of them. They're there to help you with any concepts that you might be struggling with. But again, your textbook and your reading assignment should be go-to step number 1 for everything that you do in this class. Now, once you are done reading your textbook, you can dive into the assignments, talking about, scalars and vectors. That's going to be huge. You need to be able to tell the difference between those two. There's a vocabulary scatter game, a journal. There's free body diagram practice with a couple of examples that I have for you. Now, when you do this assignment, I do recommend that you go here and you open these 2 files right here. The types of forces and variables reference sheet, and then force and force diagrams. So make sure that you open those 2 documents to help you with your free body diagram assignment. And then you'll notice that the last assignment is an online lab with the vectors gizmo, and that one's a little bit tricky, so there is a little overview where I help you to understand what you're reading when you open that lab document. Again, if you have any questions for me, if you're stuck on something, the best thing to do is to email me. You need to let me know. I don't want you to sit there and overly struggle with something when I can help you with it. So make sure you email or text me. And good luck on everything. But again, remember, your textbook is going to be one of your best resources.